And let's get to the business around sports. I had to take a deep breath because Tay talked me off a ledge and said, Jess, now, Jess, he said, don't go too far. He said, as a friend, I'm telling you, Jess, don't get yourself banned. Don't get yourself unable to go to the University of North Carolina. Because sometimes you do a little too much, say a little too much, and this is going out. And anybody will be able to pick it up. My University of North Carolina Tar Heel. My heels, and I can say my heels. I keep telling y'all, I'm not a Cowboy fan, I'm a Cowboy. I'm not a Tar Heel fan, I'm a Tar Heel. My University of North Carolina Tar Heels. My Heels signed a new head coach, a new football head coach. They fired the 73-year-old Mac Brown, and they hired the 72-year-old William Bill Belichick. I'm not happy about it. I understand it. I don't agree with it. Let me give you some of what the contract looks like. Bill Belichick signed a $5 million, 5-year, $50 million deal. The first 3 years are guaranteed, so $30 million of this contract is guaranteed. He gets a 3.5 annual bonus tied to final rankings, wins, ACC championship, conference playoff games. Here's what's important. He gets $10 million to allocate to his assistant coaches. And the biggest one is the NIL money. Carolina was way down in the dumps. They had $4 million that they offered from the university, NIL money. Not other sponsorships and other deals that players get. From the university, they go from $4 million in NIL money to 20. So Bill, and let me read off some of the contract stuff that you may be interested in. It's a 5-year deal. Like I said, $50 million. He gets $1 million paid base salary. He gets $900 million in supplemental income. The first 3 years of this is guaranteed, no matter what. So here are some of the bonuses that he can get every single year. $3.5 million tied to in bonuses. So for the regular season, if Bill Belichick gets the University of North Carolina to 8 wins, $150,000, 9 wins, $200,000, 10 wins, $250,000, 11 wins, $300,000, 12 wins, $350,000. A conference championship game. If he appears in a conference championship game, the ACC championship, like you see Clemson and SMU playing in this year, $200,000. If he wins a conference championship game, $300,000. Postseason bonuses. If he's in a non-CFP, that means a non-college football playoff for any bowl, $150,000. A non-CFP Tier 1 Elite Bowl, that's your big time, your New Year's Day bowls, $350,000. If he gets the University of North Carolina into the CFP, if we just get into it, we make an appearance, he gets a $750,000 bonus. If they get to the quarterfinals, $1 million. Semifinals, 1.2. If he gets to the CFP championship game appearance, 1.5. If he wins a national championship, $1.750 million. If he his final CFP polls, as he's ranked in the top 25, gets another bonus, $250,000. Top 20, $300,000. Top 15, $375,000. Top 10, 425. If he's ranked in the top 5 at the end of the year, he gets $500,000 bonus. So he also gets academic bonuses. If the team has an ARP that's 1,000 and above, 200,000. 99, 150. 989, 125. If the team's overall GPA is a 2.7 or higher, 50,000. 2.8, 75,000. 2.9, 100,000. 3.0 or above, $150,000 bonus. If Bill Belichick is the conference coach of the year, he gets another $100,000. If he's the national coach of the year, he gets another $250,000. So what I'm saying is that the deal is sweet. But, and I'm going to spend a lot of our time when I talk about this because this is my university. And I'm going to be honest with you. I think Bill Belichick fleeced the Carolina Tar Heels. I think Bill Belichick loves coaching. When you coach for as long as he has coached, going way back to being an assistant days. I mean, he's been in this league 40, 50 years. That's all he knows. That's all he knows is coaching. It's become his DNA. And when he left the Patriots, he got into TV, but there is this itch to coach. It's just, he gets up in the morning wanting to break down film, wanting to practice, wanting to do all those things. But there's something to be said for a coach who is second in the National Football League in all-time wins. Second. There's something to be said that a guy who has 8 Super Bowl championships, 6 as a head coach, 2 as an assistant, who is arguably, not even arguably, right? Like he is the best coach in NFL history, at least when it comes to Super Bowls. Can't find a job. There were 8 jobs that came available last year in the National Football League. He didn't get any. He interviewed one in Atlanta, and they thought, like the other guy. Adam Schefter said earlier this year that it'll probably be anywhere from 6 to 9 NFL jobs that open up this year. And I'm sure he's tested the water, talked to a couple GMs and some owners and all that kind of stuff. Nobody's sniffing for old Bill. Part of the reason, probably because of the demands, is Bill likes to have complete control. He wants to be the head coach. He wants to be the general manager. He wants to have complete control of what's going on football-related wise. And that's just not happening. You know it ain't happening in Dallas. So I think he looked around and he found a desperate program. Because here are a couple of reasons why I don't like the hire. You just got rid of a 73-year-old coach, only to hire a dude who will be 73 in April. I don't care what you tell me. Bill Belichick is not in tune with today's culture. Not these kids. I'm 40, and I'm barely holding on to what the hell these kids are talking about nowadays. And then there's the mystique, right? There is this is Bill Belichick. It's the most second winning coach in all-time history, most Super Bowl wins by a coach, blah, 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 blah. To you and I. To the 40-plus-year-olds, to the 35-plus-year-olds, to the 50-plus-year-olds, 60-plus-year-olds, who were old enough to know how he used to get down in New England, who are also old enough to know when that dude wearing number 12 with the good jawbone, the jawline, when he left, Bill wasn't so good as a coach. I mean, you always say, what comes first, right? The chicken or the egg? And who was more responsible for the championships in New England, Bill or Tom? Tom left. And in the same year that he left, he went and won a championship with a completely different team in Tampa. Bill didn't even make the playoffs. I'm just saying, if you want to ask the question, what came first, chicken or the egg? Be my guest. But Bill's not in tune with today's kids. And while he has a ton of NFL coaching experience, he has zero coaching in college. And that's different. How you talk to these kids, how you develop these kids, how you handle these kids. The days of you going to sitting in the living room and meeting folks and parents and building that bonding relationship, those days are done. If you know anything about college recruiting today with the NIL, you got to talk to somebody's agent. When I was being recruited many, many years ago, those coaches was coming into little old Roselle, New Jersey, and they was coming to my grandmother's house. And she was feeding them spaghetti. She would always feed them spaghetti because we were kind of poor. And that was the one meal that you can cook for a lot of people for a low cost. So she would always have a regular sauce and then sauce with meat in it. So just in case somebody was a vegetarian or something like that. But you would always you got spaghetti from my house. And then when the numbers begin to dwindle down and she figured out which ones that I liked, she might have fried up some chicken or something like that. She might have gave a little something extra. But everybody got spaghetti. That was the easiest thing. She'd go down to Meat City, get a pound and a half of chopped meat, some noodles, and some sauce. And she make she get a loaf of that bread from the corner store, make her own garlic bread. Everybody ate spaghetti when they came to my house. But they came to my house. They talked to me. They met my grandmother. They met my brothers. And there was a relationship. There was no agent. Nowadays, you got to talk to the agent. And the more stars the kids are, the less you get a chance to relate to build a bond with them. Now, I get it. You go into the portal. $20 million. And that's significant because if you took the number of the Tar Heels NIL money, they're going to have $20 million to spend for the university NIL. If you take that number and you equate it to what that looks like, this year, the Carolina Tar Heels will be in contention with the Ohio State Buckeyes, the Michigans, the Bamas, the Texas of the world. They were, I think Ohio State was $22 million that they had in university NIL money to spend this year. They had, the Ohio State University had the richest roster that you can buy. So that's going to be important. But what's also has to be talked about is, cool, let's just say all things considered equal, NIL money-wise, right? Let's say there's $20 million across the board, okay? And now there's a 5-star kid, pick the state. I don't care where you pick at. Texas, California, Florida, whoever, Georgia, Atlanta, I don't care. Pick the state. All things considered equal. $20 million to spend on the NIL, on a kid in the NIL, all right? 5-star quarterback. Because quarterback's always a game. Quarterbacks are always the program changers. You get a quarterback, you got a chance. Okay? If Texas got $20 million, Ohio State got $20 million, Georgia got $20 million, Michigan got $20 million, Bama got $20 million, North Carolina got $20 million. What makes that kid choose North Carolina over Steve Sarkisian? Because the one thing that Bill tried to sell to the university, to the fans, was this place is going to be a pipeline to the NFL. We're going to build and develop guys to go play in the NFL. Ain't that what every other university is doing? Ain't that what Alabama's doing? Ain't that what Georgia's doing? Ain't that what Mizzou is doing? Ain't that what Texas is doing? Ain't that what A&M is doing? That's what everybody's doing. Everybody's building a program that's a pipeline to the NFL. And so Carolina, who's historically we've been a good football program. We haven't been a powerhouse. You know, we played in the ACC championship game a couple years ago. We should have beat Clemson. The ref cheated us on that onside kick that we recovered, but that's neither here nor there. Now, do I think that Bill Belichick can make some splash? Yeah. But when you start talking about national powerhouse, Bill has zero connections with high school coaches. Never coached in high school. And a lot of his coaches, because I got a chance to be around Bill and his coaches, he's a very insulated dude. Look at the hires that Bill Belichick makes when he was with New England. All that was, his hires were always internal. Bill wasn't going to sign other guys. When an assistant coach would leave to go for another team for a head coaching job, he would hire internally. He'd have Matt Patricia, who was a defensive guy, coaching offense. He's a very, very insulated dude when it comes to hiring people. So those that have been like, oh, yeah, well, he could just go and get college coaches. That's not how he rolls. He rolls with his group. He brought in his general manager, Michael Lombardi, who failed in the NFL. He's now going to be the University of North Carolina football GM. And so as he begins to work out this coaching staff, I can almost promise you a lot of the guys that he's going to bring on this staff are going to be former NFL coaches that were once on his staff, that he has a rapport with, who understands his way of working and thinking and operating. And most of those coaches also don't have any college football experience in the recruiting. And the way that the NFL coaches, when I coach men, I can be a different level of stern and straightforward than I can with an 18-year-old kid. Those 18-year-old kids are going to be like, oh, transfer portal me out of here. It's a different level. It's a different level. And again, I get the name, I get the hire, I get it. Like we are a university who is trying to match name recognition and popularity to the program. Carolina's always been historically a basketball school. It was never not going to be a basketball school, ever. We're too deep into it. We're a good football program. Jordan Brand, our stadium is beautiful. Our campus is beautiful. We play in the ACC. If you can get Carolina to 8 wins, 9 wins, like I would love for the fact of us to be a national powerhouse every single year. You're just far behind the 8 ball to do that. And then you don't sit in a rich enough pool where even if you owned the state, because that's the first part of recruiting, right? We got to dominate the state that our school is in. Especially if you're a state university, you got to dominate the state that you're in. But North Carolina doesn't have enough like game changers. They'll have some. Don't get me wrong. I'm not crapping on North Carolina, but the North Carolina. You will have, this is the difference. Look at Dallas, Fort Worth, not Texas, not the state. Look at a spot in the state. Look at Dallas, Fort Worth. Look at a 25-mile radius from Fort Worth, North Crowley, down to South Texas, to South Dallas, and the Duncanvilles, the Sotos, to the McKinneys. Just look at the DFW. And that one little small concentrated area dominates what North Carolina, the state, would have. The players that come just from the DFW. Not Texas, not Beaumont, not Houston, not Austin, not South Texas, none of that. Just in the DFW would dominate the state. So there's not even enough players in that state to make you a powerhouse. Because these other schools have ties. Because again, all things being equal, what makes the kid from said city in Texas leave the state if you offering them $2 million and Texas is offering them $2 million, or A&M is offering them $2 million, bigger conference, they're in the SEC, or LSU is offering them $2 million. Now what ends up having to happen is what was a $2 million going rate. That's what Coach from Nebraska told you last year. What's his name? Matt Rule. Matt Rule already told you 1.5 is the going rate for a quarterback. Now let's just go ahead and prorate that up to the economy. $2 million is the going rate now for a starting quarterback, right? So if $2 million is being offered for the same kid in said city in Texas, what makes that kid say no to Texas, to A&M, to LSU, to Alabama, to Georgia, to Clemson before he gets to North Carolina? Remember, don't tell me, well, it's Bill Belichick. That 16-year-old kid don't give a damn about Bill Belichick. These kids don't know who Bill Belichick is like that. So now what Bill will have to do is, I got to almost double the money and hope the money is the reason why he comes. And then once he gets here, how do I keep him? Because the transfer portal is open. I looked at it today. 3,000 plus kids are in the transfer portal. There's only 125 Division I universities. 3,000 kids are in the transfer portal. The transfer portal opened Monday. 3,000 kids are in it. Looking for the bag, looking for the university. So I just, listen, now, the objective thing is, everything goes right. He's able to somehow, some way get the players that's needed, because it's all about the players, and it works. I don't, honestly, like, I'm trying. This is my university. I'm not trying to crap on my university. I would love to feel good about this is going to work. There is a difference between the NFL and college. I wish I can explain it to you more, but I've lived both of those lives. And it's going to be very difficult to be as stern and as tough and as all that. And I know what you guys are thinking. Well, I mean, he can change. How many people in your life do you know that are 50, 60, 70? Bill will be 73 years old. You think he's changing his ways? How many 70-year-olds that you know in your family, you still trying to get Big Mama to eat right? Big Mama, 69 years old and hanging on by a thread, and the doctor keep telling Big Mama, you can't have fried food. Big Mama, you can't have that sweets. Big Mama, you got to take your medicine. Big Mama is cooking and her arm is burning on the stove, and they said, Big Mama, your arm. You think Big Mama changing? Big Mama 69 years old. You know what Big Mama going to tell you? I'm going to do what the hell I want to do. Have you seen a 70-year-old grandpa? Those got to be the most stubborn. Come on, y'all. Ain't no dude 70-year-old all of a sudden now he changing his stripes and going now all of a sudden know how to deal and talk to these young kids when his whole life has been around professional athletes where you speak to them in a certain way, in a certain form, you demand a certain thing. Nah. When that 17-year-old, 18-year-old, 19-year-old kid is having a tough week because his girl cheated on him, or he's stressed out. Now, I am a mental health advocate 100% all the way. But what you going to do when that kid come and tell you, Coach, I'm just depressed right now. I'm just not feeling it. How does Bill handle that? You know what Bill would have told somebody if that was an NFL? He'd have cut you. You can't focus. You can't. All right, I'm going to cut you. When you get your focus back, let me know, and then we'll see if we can't sign you back. I don't have time to deal with your depression. I don't have time to deal with your anxiety. I don't have time to deal with you upset because you failed a test. You stressed out because you got 2 exams coming up. I ain't got time for all that. And you can't tell no assistant to deal with it. They're coming right to you. Or that kid come and tell you at the beginning of the year, Coach, I know I agreed upon this $250,000 NIL, but we halfway through the season, and I'm leading the ACC in receiving yards. I got the most interceptions in the ACC. You know, I'm going to need 500. This number got to go up. And you got 6 more games left in the season. Bill, how you going to deal with that? Michael Lombardi, how y'all going to deal with that? it's a different league, man. It's a different league, and like I said, it's my university. I love my school, but we'll see.